Scouting Olympics that will take place over an oncoming long holiday weekend. You will be asked to interpret the organization meeting, and because it is your friend, you agree to do so pro bono basis. When you arrive, there are approximately 50 Cub Scouts and their parents, mostly fathers, at the meeting. As you're waiting for your friend and your son to arrive, you notice one man that looks familiar. One man that looks familiar, probably from the meeting, sessions. After a short time, you recognize that he is one of the men from the group counseling sessions. You remember him quite clearly because of his graphic descriptions of his sexual fantasy, and all of those involved young boys. What do you do and why? Well, what's the man there for? Is he just a participant? It just says, as you're waiting for your friend, you notice one of the men. Is he a Cub Scout leader? I think those would be some of my issues. To be completely honest, if he was, I don't even want to say this because it's probably like not the most professional manner, but if he's a Cub Scout member or he's one of those leaders, then I don't know if that's something that like needs to be told, needs to be mentioned. But then also, I don't know the clauses within the therapy session. Is it, we're in this therapy session, everything stays in this wall, nothing goes outside, nothing can be told? And I don't mean personally where I'm gossiping. I just mean if outside of these walls we notice or we see, these men hanging out with young boys, is that appropriate? Is that okay? Are they allowed to have jobs with when they're around young people? So knowing the rules, the policy, how all that stuff goes, then that probably inform my decision as far as what I would do now. And like I said, is he just some guy in the crowd? Is he had more leadership, more contact with these boys? Just like sex offenders, when you're a registered sex offender, it's still put down in your record, that's public knowledge. So, but like I said, I just think for me, it would depend in what capacity was that man there. Is he just sitting there? Then no. I mean, he's allowed to, obviously be in society. He hasn't been locked up or deemed dangerous enough not to be, so he has that right to be there. But I just think it just depends on the clause of what you do in an interpreting assignment, and then what position he had at that Cub Scout meeting. Finally, your friend and his son arrive. In a few minutes, the meeting starts. The leader, after reviewing the tentative schedule, then asks for volunteers for various tasks, including driving, overnight supervision, competition judging. As fathers begin to volunteer for various tasks, the man you recognize from the counseling session volunteers to drive and be one of the overnight supervisor. The leader thanks him and then announces no more volunteers are needed. What do you do and why? I could very well be mistaken that that's not the guy that I know. I'm assuming when you've done all these sessions that, you're capable of recognizing the right person and not accusing people of wrongdoing. One thing I may do is I would ask the camp counselors and ask people, like whoever organized these things, if the volunteers get background checks. And the reason why I would say that, just as a parent who has to volunteer in her school, in my school, or my kid's school, we have to have background checks, and we cannot have background checks to even volunteer in the school. You can come in the school and you can visit, but you're not allowed to take your kids out of any setting beyond the supervision of the teacher. If it's field trip, if it's you want to come to school and you want to walk the kids to the bathroom, or take them for a nature tour outside, you are not allowed to do any of those things without background checks. So I just might, as a parent, looking at it from a parent perspective, and even maybe suggest it to, since my children aren't actually at that Cub Scout, bring it up to my friend and maybe even have her ask them, okay, from a parent perspective, are we making sure, these parent volunteers And that's for everybody. So it's not singling out any one person, but for everybody. I'll be making sure our children, or ask them, how are you ensuring the safety of my child? You know, that this person has a valid driver's record, that this person, you know, and it's not even about the whole sexual nature of it, just about the whole safety of my child and my child's well-being, as well as all the other children that are going to be, you know, driven and going other places. So I think that's where I'd sort of come from. Be interesting to see what you guys all think. I don't know if I really talked about my decision process. I know that that's what this was saying. It's not about the right or wrong answer, but just vocalizing my thought process. So hopefully I did enough of vocalizing how and why I thought the way I did, but the reason why I gave more of my decisions is because that's what the question said at the end. So anyway, I'm glad it's over. Now I gotta figure out how to post it on Blackboard. See you guys soon. Bye.